Hi, welcome to my executive summary on the Google Merchandise Store, Google Analytics. So, understanding the site, we looking at the Google Merchandise Store, which I have loaded up here. Let's see, we have the Google Merchandise Store, which is pretty simple. You have your side tab here, brings you into the login screen, sign up for Google, which is pretty basic. And then we have the new, if you want to go to new apparel items, if you're interested in the merchandise pretty often. I know a lot of people that do like YouTube stuff have a lot of merchandise from Google, like do Android. Apparel, we have men's, women's, kids, bags, drinkware, accessories, office, shop by brand, and then sale items that are being discontinued or just low on stock. Pretty simple here, not a lot of options here going over all this. If we go back to here, I have listed here, they have apparel items, all the stuff I just mentioned that we looked at in the Google Merchandise Store, logging in and creating and signing up for a Google account. Pretty simple stuff looking here at their merchandise store, nothing too crazy here, pretty simple layout. Then again, Google tends to be pretty simple within their layout, and I have a picture of a Google bottle here that I actually do own, got from a marketing event. Understanding the user. So, how does the Google merchandise store understand their user looking through Google Analytics? So, looking at the site and how it is laid out, the site is very minimal with a satin white background, pretty simple to like what other Google products have on their site, pretty uniform with what they got going on there. Um, the items are pretty minimalistic in themselves as well. Good quality products, just simple light writing on them, nothing pretty insane. Um, and then looking over this, so like if you get like into the actual data of it, of the analytics, 23% are returning users, while a majority or 70%, 6% are new users, which I have down here in the sky chart, little chart down here. They seem so we don't have a lot of returning users. It seems like a lot of these people are coming in as new users, which is pretty interesting that they have. If you go back to like the main page over here, they have new. They have new listed as their first tab, which is kind of interesting. If only 23% are looking for their newer stock items, why that would be right at the beginning there. But um, that's what their majority comes in through, and most only stay for seconds, while some do come for like 4 to 7 minutes. So I didn't see a lot of those within their site in the analytics, but only come for a few seconds, look and see what the page is about, and then leave because I guess there's not enough interest to draw the people in. And that's kind of like what I understood from understanding the user, that they're having a hard time retaining people and bringing in the people that had reached the page originally back into their page to generate more leads and sales. Key performance indicators, looking at understanding the user and realizing we're having customers come through, all that type of stuff. Looking at key performance indicators, looking at understanding the user and realizing that we're having customers come back after visiting the shop. I want to know why that is. So looking at the homepage, we can see that the site is very minimalistic in that it just has a few ads and some apparel and other items in the shop, their accessories and whatnot. Looking into the other tabs, it looks kind of messy from my point of view. When you hit the apparel tab and it brings you into a general selection that has random items on the screen for me, all the items in stocks, I don't know, maybe this is just one of the hotter selling items, but it's confusing when you enter the tab. So if we go into this tab over here and go into accessories, just click the accessories button here. It just brings up random items. Nothing's really organized correctly. I don't know where I'm looking for. And if you click on the accessories tab, this just says electronic, and then there's a category for fun. What does fun necessarily mean? So looking at how they're marketing their items just from this perspective of online, it's not hitting any key points for sellers when they're trying to find a specific item and then they find there's a tab for fun, but doesn't fun understand. But I think that's just another large issue with their key performance indicators is that they're not having real indicators on where their shoppers need to go, and that people are getting lost. And I feel like that's a huge percentage of reasons why people leave a page is because people can't find what they're looking for. And their lack of women's clothing, which is I find kind of interesting, is that majority of their people coming in, majority of the demographics for gender is the women coming in, but there's not as much merchandise for that category. So that's where I'm also kind of confused on what that's looking at on for their sales revenue. So if they're not marginalizing under general capital or market of women. Um, if we have now we're moving on from that, we have an analysis of data and looking at the data from acquisition, behavior, and conversion and reports the completion of the sale of only 26 total users out of a 2,000 average visiting rate daily. So of 2,000 people visiting the site within a day, only 26 people made a final sale. It's very low margins, like 0.4% of people made an actual sale within a day. So what does this mean? But somewhere between moving item to the cart and getting to the overview of your order, we are losing a large majority of issues. So people are moving actual items to their cart and saying, "Oh, I want this item," because this is there. A lot of these people are specifically landing on this page from searches. So you're getting a lot of people going here specifically for a reason. So how are we losing these people from putting this item into their cart to the checkout process? And that's where we kind of lose the indication of how that's happening, because that's data that's kind of hard to come across within the analytics report. But otherwise, understanding what is happening, the total revenue from that day is about $1,200 still, which is good for 26 people, with an average order total of 5326. These numbers aren't bad, but I mean, they could be twice, if not a lot more than that, if we had better conversion rates at the end of our sales. And here I have a little insight of what's going on in the behavior reports. And then insights on what the website's looking over the site and understanding how it's being used to users and what the company wants for an outcome. I can say the site just needs more development on making sure there's correct links for correct accessories, clothing, bottles, having things more specifically laid out, easier to find for the customer base, and making sure their market or everyone they're watching from their analytics and market, what they want to get from the site is actually coming out from what they want. So having tabs, links, and all this dedicated to making a conversion rate at the very end of at the company's sale would help drastically change the site's outcome of revenue. And then I just have a general overview here. So right now, 27 people were on the page when I took the screenshot, and a little interesting graph here telling us throughout the progress throughout the day, days, hours, and what was happening. But yeah, that's right now 27 people. So averaging like every time I went on, there's about 15 to 30 people, sometimes 35 people on the site. So all of those people, that's how many people are generally making a sale if you think about it. But I feel like they could be a lot higher if you had better tabs to discuss what, or better just access to the merchandise instead of just the kind of like funky tabs that got going on there. And that would be in my recommendations. All of this would be everything that I kind of mentioned over that I felt was kind of off would be in my recommendations. And especially with the front page too, just not even like the tabs themselves, but the front page, they just have slideshows of their merchandise sliding through. And not, a lot of that I feel like could be utilized better in offering better marketing strategies on their demographics and watching their demographics. Like if they have more women coming to the site, offer more women's products within the slideshow, they're creating new merchandise ads for their targeting their demographics better for that. What time of day are these sales going through? So create better discussion on how you can make that go through. But otherwise, that's what I have for my executive summary report for DMT marketing. Oh, like that. DM Digital Marketing Technologies.